An American sports classic, the Indianapolis 500 creates its own legends. Names like Foyt, Unser, Andretti, and Mears rank among the greatest athletes of all time.
They're racing in Indianapolis.
A.J. Foyt will win the Indianapolis 500.
Johncock and Mears.
Over the roar of the engines, you can hear the 400,000 people. Mario Andretti. And look out, a crash before the start of the race.
Danny Sullivan going down low.
He won it by less than a car length. No one has ever seen this before in Indianapolis.
Levi is on the wall. He goes into a terrible flip, and we have a fire.
Al Unser Sr. takes the lead in the Indianapolis 500.
Bobby Gordon is on fire.
I believe that's the closest finish in Indy history.
Eddie Cheever has won the 82nd running the Indianapolis 500. Buddy Lazier picks up the lead of the 500 with 8 laps to go.
These drivers belong to a unique family that the Indy 500 has nurtured. And ABC Sports has been a proud member of that family for 40 continuous years. ABC Sports presents racing's greatest spectacle. ABC Sports, 40 years at the Indy 500.
Back at Indianapolis, the big moment is almost here. Pretty girls, masked bands, and prancing majorettes salute the crowd. It's part of the tradition of the 500 to launch race day activity on a gay note. As the start of the race draws near, cars are pushed onto the racetrack and lined up in 11 rows of 3 cars each. Serious A.J. Foyt adjusts his driving uniform, while Jim Clark and Dan Gurney exchange a last-minute message. All over the Speedway grounds, the soaring balloons signal the race is about to begin. As they float skyward, the public address system crackles with final announcement.
Here is Mr. Tony Holman. Start your engine.
The pace car pulls into the pit, and the race is on. Clark leads the pack through the first turn with A.J. Foyt, Dan Gurney, and Parnelli Jones in close pursuit.
So began ABC's coverage of the Indianapolis 500. It was 1965, and we've been at the Yard of Bricks ever since. I'm Paul Page, and I'm at racing's most historic site. The Indianapolis Motor Speedway was paved with over 3 million bricks for the first 500 in 1911, and it's been called the Brickyard ever since. The grandstands make it the biggest stadium in the world by nearly 100,000 seats, and the crowds of more than 400,000 make the Indy 500 the world's largest single-day spectator sporting event. Now, many things have changed at ABC Sports since the first broadcast of the race 40 years ago. The track speeds are faster. The prize money has increased 15-fold. But in 1965, Indy's greatest traditions were already in place. Each Memorial Day weekend, balloons flood the skies. The notes of Back Home Again in Indiana and Taps echo throughout the stands. And the ceremonial milk flows in Victory Lane. And the most famous 4 words in sports,
Gentlemen, start your engine.
resound over the loudspeakers to signal the start of the race. At ABC, we weren't the only rookies at the Brickyard in 1965.
As the race moves into the final stages, 5 of the top 10 positions are held by rookies. Hottest of the new generation is Mario Andretti, solidly in 3rd spot and running only seconds behind Parnelli Jones. Jones' pit crew is worried because he's running low on fuel. And Parnelli is worried because the threat of Andretti keeps him from slackening his pace to save fuel. A pit stop will surely cost him second place.
5
While Parnelli Jones and Andretti battled down to the wire, Jim Clark crosses the finish line to win the race with a comfortable lead of 2 minutes. It's the culmination of 3 years of effort by car builder Colin Chapman, and he dances down the pits like a ballet artist as Clark drives the triumphant road to the winner's circle. Jim Clark set a new record of 150.686 miles per hour.
Scotland's Jimmy Clark led the so-called British invasion in his Lotus powered by Ford, a tiny rear-engine race car. The next year, 1966, there was an ominous start to the race.
Here come the cars. That's Andretti on the inside, Clark and the Miller, and Snyder on the outside, making their move to the lead. They gun it into the first turn. It looks like George Snyder may get the lead, but wait, look back near the first turn. A massive upheaval of cars, tires flying in every direction. Look at the bumping, the smoke. Has to be one of the worst accidents ever here at Indianapolis. Some of the cars do manage to get through.
Englishman Graham Hill, already a world champion, but a rookie at Indy, made it 2 in a row for the Brits. Clark's win in '65 helped to inspire another trend. His victory was the first for a rear-engine car, and by the close of the decade, rear engines made up the entire 33-car field at the Brickyard. Now, this also marked the first of what would be many Unser family victories. Young star Mario Andretti won his first Indy 500, a feat that he and a second generation of Andretti drivers would attempt to duplicate for decades to come. And of course, there was A.J. Foyt.
Something's happened. Here he is.
Parnelli Jones is coasting, coming around the number 4 turn. Parnelli Jones is coasting to a stop, coming around the number 4 turn.
There's Granatelli.
Parnelli Jones is coasting, coming down.
It's possible he could be out of fuel. High confusion in the Granatelli pits. They didn't know whether to run or stay. Now they're running down to the car. There's Andy.
Certainly something you wouldn't have suspected.
A.J. Foyt just went past and saw it, and there he is waving to his pit crew. Unbelievable chaos here as the lead car, with a little more than 3 laps to go, has apparently dropped out of the race. Andy Granatelli suffering the most disappointing moment of his lifetime.
They don't seem to be pushing the car down to the pits. Apparently the trouble is more than just being out of fuel.
This car that had no difficulty all through the day, suddenly, without any warning, dropping out with 3.5 laps to go. And on the yellow flag.
That's unbelievable. There's Jones getting out, a very disgusted Jones, and there's the old 98, the car that he would have driven perhaps if it weren't for this car being pushed to the pits.
Strange coincidence there, too. But it looks like A.J. Foyt, and we better start talking about him, is going to be the winner here. And there is Parnelli trying to look as casual as possible, but you know how he's got to feel inside.
Certainly a very disappointing day for Parnelli Jones.
The white flag for A.J. Foyt. He had 2 laps to go before, but now all he has to do is negotiate each of these 4 turns one more time, and it's all over. A.J. Foyt will win his 3rd Indianapolis 500, a great comeback after last year's disappointing season for him.
Well, he drove a great race. He just stayed in there all day long, grit his teeth, and there's an accident in the front straightaway.
There's 2, 3, 4 cars. Where's Foyt? I don't know whether he can get through or not.
Another car hitting the wall, bouncing back across the straightaway.
Foyt's only got a couple hundred yards to go, but where is he? There he is!
He's going to get through.
A.J. Foyt will win the Indianapolis 500 in an incredible, thrilling finish.
There are very few of the great sports events of the world where the crowd itself becomes an important part of the occasion, something that helps to lend the excitement and the enchantment to what is going on. So it is at the Indianapolis 500. Each year, people come from all over America, some 300,000 of them on this Memorial Day, to see the big race at Indy. They particularly come from the Midwest, because this is the way Mid-America celebrates the first big holiday of the summer. It's hot today the way it ought to be for such an occasion. They come from the farms, from the small towns, and from the big cities. As always, 33 cars are poised for the start. On the first row, a most interesting combination. On the pole, fastest qualifying speed, A.J. Foyt. He's won the race 3 times. No man has ever won it 4 times. Next to him, probably the greatest driver of this day who's never won the race, Mario Andretti. And on the outside, the defending champion, 1968 winner, Bobby Unser. The man of the hour, it appears, is Mario Andretti. Here's his chief mechanic, Clint Brawner, checking things over. Let there be no last-minute mistake, not this year.
At a time like this, Jim, all you hear are those phony noises that come up into the automobile and make you think something is going wrong.
I'll bet that's right, huh? This huge crowd getting ready to welcome Mario as a champion. He has been the USAC, United States Automobile Club champion, a couple of times before, but never a winner at Indianapolis. This is the scene in the closing moments. The white flag, 1 lap for Mario Andretti. And Andy Granatelli can hardly stand it. Finally slipping on his red victory jacket. He still won't talk to anybody. And the crowd beginning to pay its tribute to Andretti. The young man who came to this country at the age of 14 as an immigrant from Italy. He had driven racing cars even before he came over here. This was the one he wanted more than anything else in the world. And here it comes, Mario. The checkered flag of victory. He's done it. And look at this scene in the pit. There's Chris trying to get in down there. I don't know whether he can make it or not.
Andy! You finally made it. You finally made it, Andy.
Unbelievable.
Have you ever been happier?
Unbelievable.
Here is Victory Lane. What a cherished place that is here in Indiana.
It certainly is, and you got to know that at this moment he still doesn't believe it.
The wreath of victory coming in. The Borg Warner trophy, emblematic of victory behind him, that huge trophy. The traditional sip of milk. No champagne here at Indianapolis, it's milk. And now, for the first time in history, the winning driver has been kissed first, not by the beauty queen, but by the winning owner.
The 1970s saw the 200-mile-an-hour barrier broken, Indy's first female driver, and its first 4-time winner. In '77, Janet Guthrie became the first woman to start a race at the Speedway, forcing an inventive change to Speedway owner Tony Hulman's famous words. A future legend picked up his first Indy victory when 27-year-old Rick Mears won the race in just his second try. But the biggest moment of the decade came when A.J. Foyt drove to a historic and hard-earned 4th win at Indy. Well, first, let's take a look at Al Unser, who got off to a roaring start in the 70s, taking the decade's first 2 races. He and the '68 winner, Bobby Unser, became the first brother duo to win at Indy, and both would pick up another win before the decade was done.
And there you see the white flag. That means 1 lap for the leader, 1 lap for Al Unser. 3 Unser brothers have raced here in Indianapolis. One, Jerry, was killed in an accident in the late 50s. Bobby Unser won the race 2 years ago. And now, by completing this lap, Al, who celebrated his 31st birthday just yesterday, can complete the first brother act in victory at Indianapolis.
Foyt is hanging on, Jim, running low on the track. He's going to finish.
But it appears it will be Al Unser the winner right here, the Johnny Lightning Special, with Mark Donohue second and Dan Gurney third. Donnie Allison 4th and Jim McElreath 5th.
Foyt's car's going extremely slow on the track. He's being passed by many cars, Jim.
The crowd of more than 300,000 on their feet now, paying tribute to the apparent victor. There's the checkered flag. He takes it, and it's all over. Al Unser has won the 1970 Indianapolis 500, the crowning glory of a race driver's career. And there's his pit crew.
Get the pace car coming off. Jim Ranson takes the pace car off the track. He should get the green right now. Doesn't look like a repeat of last year's start. No, it's a good one. And here they come. Bobby Unser going for the lead. Johnny Rutherford right alongside him. Rutherford down low, but Bobby, there's a terrible crash on the home stretch. There are several cars involved. We can't see the numbers, but it's been a bad crash on the start. It was in the middle of the field somewhere. Terrible thing. Explosion. This is what everyone is feared. This is why there's been such a terrible atmosphere of fear here all weekend long. It's a shame there's a driver waving. He might be on fire, that man, the way he was waving. You can't see an alcohol fire. Those explosions are not cars. Those are the bombs overhead that are normally set off during the start of the race. There is a report already that there may be spectators hurt, not confirmed. The wire fence right here on the straightaway was ripped apart. It was very fortunate that a car did not come into the crowd, because one of the standards holding up the wire screen has also been broken in half. Right here at the most crowded part of the grandstand, we almost had an automobile go into the crowd. And it appears definitely that there are spectators injured, but here's a replay of what happened here. He was back in the 6th or 7th row, this car. Conjecture that it might have been Salt Walther, but watch, there's a car going, starting to the right. Right there, and look at this. Incredible explosion, fuel spraying out over the spectators in the first few rows. That could mean real trouble. And an explosion, and like a pinwheel or a garden sprinkler, all the fuel is being sprayed out of the car. That could be a good thing for the driver if he has survived this crash. Car upside down, coming to a rest. Another view of this from a head-on camera. And again, you will see how the cables inside this screen are the only thing that stop this car from flying into the crowd. There, watch now, the screen itself is completely destroyed. The cables flinging him back out of the race course upside down, and again that fuel spraying on the crowd. That's a matter of great concern. And here, that pinwheel effect. The alcohol-based fuel spinning out of the car upside down. Another car, Lee Koonsman, I believe, number 16, barely missing the crash. It's Salt Walther who is under the car. Terrible, terrible accident on the start at Indianapolis. Only 7 seconds after the start of the race.
The accident started right here on the front straightaway. Salt Walther's car pitched up into the fence and then back onto the track upside down. It slid nearly a quarter of a mile, coming to a stop at the entrance of turn 1. Salt Walther, although critically injured in that horrific crash, amazingly recovered in time to start again next year in the Indy 500. Burdened by rain and more severe accidents, the 73 race took 3 days to complete and suffered 2 fatalities. In the end, it was Gordon Johncock who crossed the finish line first, one of just 11 cars to complete the rain-shortened race. When the crowds returned to the Brickyard the next year, it was to a much safer track. The amount of catch fencing all along the straightaway was increased, and the crowds were now seated further back from the wall. An 11-year veteran from Texas was closing in on his first win.
Here comes the white flag. 1 lap to go, and Johnny Rutherford will have it won. Pat Bedan gives it to him.
This is incredible. Team McLaren, which has made so many dramatic, there's his wife, there's Johnny's wife. She can almost believe it now, I think. There's
right.
Much less than a minute to go. Team McLaren.
Are bending over the mother of 2 children, wife of Johnny Rutherford.
All the people down there in the pits are looking up toward, they're looking down toward the 4th turn where they should see him in a few seconds rather.
You really can see the tension building in this woman more on the last lap.
Yeah, Teddy Mayer is standing up.
Here he comes. Johnny Rutherford, the man with the Lone Star of Texas on his helmet from Fort Worth. He'll take the checker flag to win the Indianapolis 500 on his 11th try.
Terrific. Terrific.
down with A.J. Foyt beginning to move through traffic, and he's running in behind Tom Sneva. Eldon Rasmussen, number 58, is in the yellow car coming around turn number 2. And oh, we've got an axe. Sneva is on the wall. He goes into a terrible slip, and we have a fire. The engine is ripped from the back of the car and comes tumbling across. A.J. Foyt was right behind him. He was able to avoid it somehow. But Tom Sneva is in the car. He's moving around. He's trying to get out. An incredible accident on turn number 68, Tom Sneva. There is fire. Sneva can't seem to get out of the car. The fireman is there, spraying it down. Question is there fire in the cockpit? But what a spectacular flip, and the fire suit hopefully will protect young Tom Sneva as he struggles to get out of the car, and Jackie, it appears that he is trapped in that car.
Yeah, he is, but he's got lots of help there. They're obviously dousing the fire. You can't see the alcohol flame, of course, but he looks as if he's okay. He's certainly moving around. I don't think I've ever seen a driver move so easily after such a terrible accident. That's one of the most horrifying crashes I've ever seen. To have a driver come out of that even moving in the way he is. Now look at the replay of the accident. They go into the turn together. As they go into turn 1 there, you can see they're going even, going into turn 2 even. As they go through there together, somehow they touch. Now you see Sneva in the blue car low down, and he actually goes into what I would call a classic open wheel racing car action. It climbs over the front wheel of the yellow car, of Rasmussen's car. This is the type of accident that can occur. It seems to be that Tom Sneva was in the inside line. Rasmussen stayed parallel with him, but look at that car slam against the wall, burst into flame, the car disintegrating as it goes through. The suites there, the people very close to the accident, the wheels are coming off, the engine is ripped off completely. What an accident. It looked to me as if these two cars tried to go through turn 2 together. I don't think it was Tom Sneva's fault, but I can't honestly say that it was Rasmussen's fault either. The yellow flag is out, but it looks to me as if it was just a standard motor racing accident. They're still getting Tom out. He's standing up, Keith. That's a miracle to me.
Incredible.
What a lucky young man this is. He's walking.
There is that rain.
Oh, and it's very heavy, Keith. It's almost thunder rain. It's going to absolutely flood the racetrack. Look at everybody running, but look how heavy the rain is. What are these cars going to do in this sort of rain?
They're going to start slipping and sliding. It is a cloudburst. An old-fashioned Midwest thunderstorm has hit with fury here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway.
Remember, these cars have got slick tires on. They're not supposed to run in the rain. These cars can aquaplane at even about 20 miles an hour. You can see the starter, Pat Bidan, there. He's got the checkered flag in his hand.
All right, let's check the standings now. It becomes vital. Who's leading? It is Bobby Unser who has the lead. Johnny Rutherford is second. They're just barely moving along. They're beginning to hydroplane. They're throwing up a rooster tail. A.J. Foyt is running in third. Pancho Carter is 4. Roger McCluskey 5. Bill Pudebaugh 6. And George Snyder is 7. They're wobbling all over the place. There comes Unser and Foyt coming along. A.J. is a lap down, almost a lap down to Bobby. Bobby Unser in the blue car on the right is the leader as they work their way so very carefully. At this point, however, remember, Bobby Unser must be very careful because if he slides off the racetrack, he could still lose this race to Johnny Rutherford, who is feeling his way around. It's like walking on grease.
Remember, these drivers are not used to driving in the rain, and the cars are certainly not set up. I've driven in the rain, of course, a lot of times because in Europe we do drive in the rain, but there we have tires. And there's cars all over the place. I just thought that with the aquaplaning and the amount of water on the road, cars are spinning, and look at this car.
That's Billy Vukovic.
Billy Vukovic's trying to control it. He's heading for the infield. Oh, he's going up on the fence, and he's come, and he's driving it away.
The red flag is out. The race is stopped. The checkered flag is out. Pat Bidan stopping the race. There's Johnny Rutherford. He's running in second place.
Impossible conditions for these drivers. Look at that. It's almost fog. And the cars are bursting down the front straightaway.
You can't see it, perhaps, but Bobby Unser coasting through the crowd there. There were 4 cars tangled up and coming off that 4th turn. A.J. Foyt coming along. He's going to be third, and there's your winner, car number 48. Bobby Unser wins on a driving rainstorm here at Indianapolis. Well, this is the site of the unexpected. It has been so many times. But here comes Bobby Unser and A.J. Foyt, and Unser is the winner. Here's the man that put him there, Dan Gurney.
Dan Gurney, your car's just won the race. That's terrific, isn't it? Bobby Unser, you've just been trying to talk to him on the mic. He's out there somewhere. No, he's okay. He said, is that it? I said, you bet it is. That's fantastic. This is your first win as a team and Bobby's second win. Oh, we're certainly proud.
So there is your winner. Cruising around, accepting the plaudits of the crowd, and Bobby's going to take his parade lap. He doesn't care if he has to get an oar to get that thing around. So here comes your victor, splashing down toward Victory Lane. I have never in my life seen this kind of an end to an Indy 500.
The time is here, race fans. Time for the words we have all been waiting to hear from Mr. Tony Hallman.
In company with the first lady ever to qualify at Indianapolis, gentlemen, start your engines.
And the mighty roar goes up along the main stretch.
Janet Guthrie, strapping in, finally made history.
Is he heading for the pits? Yes. A.J. Foyt's coming into pit lane now. The red car on the left-hand side of your screen.
Speed of the essence. Will John Cock pass by to retake the lead? Remember, Foyt took the lead when John Cock pitted. Now it's Foyt's turn to pit. John Cock racing around this track at a speed of probably 190 miles an hour.
And there you see the clock. A crucial pit stop at this stage in the race. Very, very important. And he's
John Cock's gotten by.
But he's out in a much faster time, 12.4 seconds. Considerable advantage over the John Cock stop.
He should gain, but he will not have the lead. Gordon John Cock still leading the race over A.J. Foyt.
And A.J. Foyt changed 2 tires there. That means he's got fresh rubber in the inside as well. He's very well equipped to go hard if he needs to go hard. And at the tail end of this race, when they're as close as they are now, that's important. But Gordon John Cock is ahead of him in the racetrack, and there aren't too many more laps left.
He's ahead of him by 7 or 8 seconds. There are only 17 laps left in the race. So Gordon John Cock is moving toward what could be his second victory in the Indianapolis 500.
He's pulled across.
What's happened?
Of smoke. Gordon John Cock, the leader of the Indy 500, is running down the side of pit lane now. Still on the racetrack. He's got a big problem.
We've seen this sort of thing so many times in Indianapolis. Just when it looked like it was all wrapped up, there he is off the track. It's all over for Gordon John Cock. A.J. Foyt leads the Indianapolis 500.
He can't get out the car quick enough. He's really getting out. He's struggling to get out. He's a tired man. Look at his head. He's tired. He's very tired. He's wanting to get out.
There's no one near A.J. now.
Almost staggering out the race car there. And there's the Gordon John Cock pit. Look, they've got their heads down. The pit board is slammed down. He's sitting down in the car. He's tired. He can't even take his helmet off.
And how discouraged he must be. Victory right within his grasp. And there is A.J. Foyt. He must almost be disbelieving of what has happened here.
Well, A.J. Foyt must now know that Gordon John Cock is out of the race. He's been told in his radio, I am sure. The crowd are screaming. You can hear them over the noise of these cars as Gordon John Cock now has his helmet off. I know the feeling.
Coming down towards turn 3, it's the final lap of the Indianapolis 500. A.J. Foyt is going to make motor racing history. The first man ever to win this great race 4 times. It started in 1911. This is the 61st race, and no one has ever achieved this before. Stand by for the checkered flag. The black and white checkered flag, and in the pits, the red and white checkered shirts of the Gilmore Foyt team. It's all over. A.J. has done it. He has won his 4th Indianapolis 500.
He's already pulled off the racetrack. He's got right, and look at the crowd cheering, clapping, waving their arms, and their American hero. He's gone right off the racetrack. He's gone right down below the white line. He's going straight into an area that he hasn't been using all day long.
Jackie, this is the most exciting moment I think we've ever seen since we've been coming to Indianapolis.
And A.J., of course, is, look at the arm, right up high.
Still in motion, A.J. Foyt accepting the tribute that he has earned so well. And now he'll be getting the tribute soon from his own father and the pit crew there, from the other men who have worked with him so long.
From these crew chiefs, from the Steve Jordan, Billy Woodruff, Howard Gilbert, Massey, John Fisher, Jack Stern, Uncle Tom Cobley and all.
They're all there. You just have to imagine that he's smiling very broadly because he's achieved the dream of a racing lifetime.
And now AJ getting out of the car. I don't know whether he can even hear anybody as the big Borg Warner trophy is put in behind him. He is absolutely soaked with sweat. Gives a big hug to the owner of the car, Jim Gilmore. And all of the checkerboard shirted team is here. There's Mr. Foyt, AJ's father, who must be very happy at this point. AJ, can you hear?
Yeah, I can hear a little bit.
What are your thoughts now that you've made history?
Oh, I don't know. It's been so long. I just can't really believe that it's true.
Now the helmet comes off. Was it awfully hot, AJ?
Yes, it was very much. We had our good breaks, we had our bad breaks, and I can't believe it.
Rick Mears has to be counting the miles now until he gets to the end of this race. He knows that AJ's on the same lap. He knows that he can't make an error. He's got to stay out of trouble, but he must be praying now. He must be imagining all the nasty things that could happen and think of the thousands of things that can happen, even though the white flag has been shown by Pat Vidan. There's thousands of moving parts in there, any one of them. Oh, nickels and dimes would buy them that could let him down.
Unofficially, we've had our Demon statistician, Jay Milligan, checking through the record books. It looks like he would be the second youngest winner ever of the Indianapolis 500, the youngest having been Troy Rutten. And there's Mike Mosley. Well, he's having a little fun unlapping himself there.
Well, he didn't go very deep there. Rick Mears backed right off and let him through there because obviously Rick couldn't risk coming in contact with him or getting out of line because mental concentration could get the better of him at this time.
Incidentally, AJ's going much, much slower, dropping way back at this point. Looks like he doesn't have a problem. And here comes the checkered flag awaiting young Rick Mears at age 27. He has won the Indianapolis 500 for 1979. There is Roger Penske, the man who owns the crew, and the rest of the guys of the Penske operation. The celebration has already begun. There is Rick. It's unofficial and will stay unofficial until tomorrow morning, technically here, but they know it's all over. There's Penske again. His last winner was the late Mark Donohue in 1971, but look at A.J. Foyt.
He's creeping, Jim. He's in big trouble. It looks like he's even coasting by there. He's switched off his engine. There's no sound, John. Outside, there's no sound of A.J. Foyt's engine. He's crossed. He's waving. He recognizes he's second. It's not going to be a fifth, but I think he's just glad that he's crossed that line of the road.
The yard of brick that marks the finish line here at the racetrack that's called the Brickyard. The checkered flag again, and somehow or other, A.J. always ends up as the center of attention when he finishes the race.
He's lifting his hand. He's saying, I don't know, but it's all over. He switched his engine off, but he's just a happy man to finish second right now, I'm sure.
Rick Mears the winner then, unofficially coming into victory lane.
The 1980s featured some of Indy's greatest finishes here at the historic Yard of Bricks that marks the start-finish line, from Mears and John Cox sprint to the finish, or Danny Sullivan's famed spin and win. ABC Sports broadcast the entire race live for the first time in 1986. And there was another first. For the first time, the Indianapolis 500 was postponed until the following weekend due to heavy rain. Late bloomer Johnny Rutherford won his third title at age 42 in a car with aerodynamics that forecast the future of this sport. Al Unser Sr., 47 years old and 9 years past his third victory, became Indy's oldest champion and just the second driver to win the coveted race 4 times. Big Al stepped in when Danny Ungaius crashed his car in practice. Owner Roger Penske took a car off of the showroom floor just 2 weeks before the race and prepped it for Al. Along with thrilling victories, the decade of the 80s brought some harrowing moments.
Here we have Sneva coming into the pits. The leader into the pits, under the green. See how good this new pit crew of his is.
Well, he's got to rely on them right now. 5 men across the wall again. It looks like they're going to change rubber. There's air jacks. You can see the jacks been lifting the car off the ground there. One of the man who puts up that airline helps also to fit the rear wheel. You can see him doing that. Another man fitting up the front wheel. The fuel is already fitted. It's in the car. The fuel lines are back over. They're having a little bit of trouble. Now they're going to help the car to be pushed away to engage the right gear. He's stalled it. He's stalled it. He's raised his hands. He's in trouble. They're having to pull it back to get the electric starter, the air starter plugged in here. Compressor starter there. They're trying to do that. All of that smoke raising off from the car. It's not in fire. It's just a lot of heat there. Tom Sneaver must be awfully frustrated, Jim. Here he is leading a motor race, or was, and here he's now stalled this engine. He can't get it started. When a hot engine like that stalls, it's extremely difficult to refire it again because the fuel going into the combustion chambers is really hot. It doesn't fire up very easily.
We got a fire there. You can't see it, but it's an alcohol fire. Look at people fleeing in every direction. It's Rick Mears trying to get out of his car. He just came into the pits. This could be very bad. You can't see it, but it's there. See him waving his hand. There's Mears. He's got that flame-proof driving suit on. There's a mechanic who's really on fire.
Rick Mears is on fire himself. He's on fire. He's still not
getting that man.
The mechanic's still on fire. You cannot see the flame. It's an alcohol fire.
Look at those tanks right there contain fuel, too. This is a very dangerous situation. They seem to be getting under control now.
Father Mears there. His father there. The mechanic is obviously burned. He knows he's burned. My, Jim, this could have been a tragedy because there's all that fuel there. The equipment is here. The fire extinguishers are here to put it out. They're really playing a lot on it here.
Well, the other mechanic seems okay for the moment.
Well,
don't know about those burns, though, at this point.
Well, you know, nobody recognizes how heavy a burn is until sometimes too late. But Rick Mears was undoubtedly better equipped for it. His wife
There's
is
his
there.
wife, yeah.
She's worried, obviously. The biggest risk here, of course, is inhalation. That's his father there, looking over him there. Inhalation. And here's Tom Sneaver still trying to get out the pits during all of that drama. Now we're back into the Rick Mears pit. The biggest risk there is inhalation of flame or heat or toxics where you can severely burn your lungs. Now, he was lucky. He had his helmet on, Jim. And, of course, that could have helped him. Look at all that stuff.
Terrible moment there, terrible moment. And obviously he has at least been helped a great deal by that clothing.
Rick's teammate Bobby Unser drove through the firefighting powder and on to win his third.
Time now for the checkered flag. Coming up for Bobby Unser of Albuquerque, New Mexico, the oldest man by almost 5 years ever to win the Indianapolis 500. He's done it at age 47. Oh my goodness, what an eventful day it has been. It has had tragic moments. There is Mario Andretti finishing second in the race. It's been a really difficult month for him. He's had to come here, sit through the rain, didn't get a chance to qualify, had to go to Belgium and race last weekend. Let Wally Dallenbach qualify his car for him. That meant he had to start at the back of the pack. But he came out, started in 32nd position of the 33, has come on to finish second. Bobby Unser, however, who started on the pole, is the winner. Pace car is off the track, but they must await the green flag before the race is underway. Watch the starters platform on the left there. It's still not out. They appear to be in pretty good order in the first 5 or 6 rows at any rate. A little bit ragged towards the back. And look out, a crash before the start of the race. It was Kevin Kogan from the middle of the first row suddenly taking a hard left turn. Tires flying. How in the world could this have happened?
Absolutely no idea, Jim. That's one of the most extraordinary things I've ever seen. Remember, they were going about 130, 140 miles an hour when that started, but there is just no explanation, and now one of the favorites is totally out of the race.
And Dale Whittington's car is up against the wall. That's one of the 3 Whittington brothers. Number 40 you saw there was Mario Andretti. There is the number 4 car of Kevin Kogan that appeared to start it all.
Roger Mears is out of the race with a damaged right front. Jim, this is absolutely...
Well, we've seen many unexpected things, but never a crash even before the green flag fell for the start of the race. 4 laps to go. Sam, listen, it's 2.9 seconds. Mears is closing, and closing fast.
Yeah, he is. There's no question about it. He's able to take it incredibly. There's John Cox starting to take an unbelievably low line. I'm starting to wonder if John Cox's handling is all it should be, Jim, because that's not where he runs on the racetrack when everything is okay. He runs above the white line. I just saw him dip way down below it. He's doing it again. Oh, well, they make a pass there, okay. But John Cox, I think, is behaving a little. He's really pushing it. That's what I'm trying to say.
Is there time left for Mears to catch him? Very, very doubtful. But it sure isn't over yet.
Well, there it is.
They give him 3. We get less than that. We get about 2.5.
Okay, I don't think...
Now, you don't need to measure seconds. You can see them.
You see it now. Will traffic be a problem? One of the Winningtons is ahead of them at this stage. Remember, if Mears catches him, he's still going to have to pass him.
Sam, we've got a trophy dash to the finish line. If this stays this way, there's never been anything like it. The closest finish in the history of Indianapolis was in 1937, 2.16 seconds. There's Dina Mears. Her man is the man that's closing on the leader.
Yep. Look at Mears pour it on, Jim. I know when you're this close, I mean, you can reach out, you can feel that guy ahead of you. And look at Mears now. Here's John Cox taking a fairly moderate line, and Mears is catching him. Look at his speed off that turn.
I've never seen anything like it. There they go. 2 laps to go. There's time to catch him if he can do it. Rick Mears, his wife. The stopwatch, 0.63 seconds between them.
I don't have to tell you what's going to happen if he catches him. It's going to be, I mean, this is an extremely dangerous business right here.
I don't think I've ever seen an open wheel car race with people this close at the finish.
No, and never so fast. I mean, these laps in the high 190s.
Look at this.
Dina there. All right.
He may do it.
Yeah, he may. He's that close. Look at that shallow line.
They're going to get the white flag. There'll be 1 lap to go. As he moves along, tries for John Cox. Is he going to do it? The white flag out. This is the final lap.
Going down into the first turn. What? No. Gordon held him off there going into that first turn.
Over the roar of the engine, you can hear the 400,000 people going hoarse.
All right.
No one has ever seen this before in Indianapolis.
This is the back straight, Jim. There's 2 turns to go now. Mears behind, and he's again trying to slipstream him.
John Cox did a good job of staying ahead of him in turn 1 when he made that move there.
Good. That was brilliant. That was brilliant.
Not quite over. John Cox still with the lead.
Here it comes
Headed
again.
for the finish line. He's still closing. That's his wife.
It's too late now. You only got to pray. Look at that.
Here you see them. Mears. Can he make a move at the finish? He's making a move. No. Not quite. John Cox has won the Indianapolis 500. He won it by less than a car length. He held on in the closest finish in the history of the Indianapolis 500.
Jim, it's the victory of a great racing driver who made a great racing move.
Let's look at that finish again.
All right. Well, here is...
It looks like he's beaten at this point, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Coming out of the last turn.
Yep. There's nothing but frustration there.
Now watch this. Making the move as they come to the finish line. There's Mears moving up, and it was just a little over a car length, about 20 feet.
I can't believe 21-year-old Al Unser Jr. playing this incredibly pivotal role in these circumstances. It's a sort of storybook situation, isn't it?
First time a father and son running in the Indianapolis 500 together, and it's become a father and son story, although one is in first place and the other is in 10th and is 5 laps down.
Yeah, and a critical situation looming up. Dick Simon in that red-white car.
Look, Steve, making the attempt. I think he's got him, or does he? Boy, made that sudden move and he's done it.
Oh!
He got past Young Al.
But Big Al flew by Simon, and...
But here comes Steve again.
Steve was able to, too.
Steve taking off after Big Al Unser, Al Unser Sr.
You don't think... This is incredible. Well, this is it. This is the lead.
There's the attempt at the pass, and Sneva has retaken the lead. He has passed the son and then the father.
Suddenly.
Tom Sneva seeking, perhaps in his heart, a little bit of revenge against the Penske team from which he was fired a couple of years ago, presumably for finishing second too many times. And he's finished second in this race 3 times.
Oh, I think this...
lifts it to the level of a morality play.
Oh, the whole thing.
That was quite a move by Tom Sneva. You almost wonder if concern for his fuel. Jim, I'm just trying to put the pieces together right now. Perhaps he had backed the boost down, coasted in the draft of the 2 Unser cars for a little while, and then turned the boost up, because now that he's by, look at him, he's pulling away dramatically.
With no problem. And there's Al Unser Jr. passing his father again.
His father. Not for position. Not for position,
No.
of course. Yeah.
Physically passing him on the racetrack.
Yep. He may not
maybe
even...
he figures if he can get in front of Sneva, he can block him for a while again.
I know.
That'd be tough to do right now.
He may not even have meant to go by, in a sense. I mean, it was a question of he had the momentum, and it does show you, by the way, the effect of getting slowed up in traffic, Jim. There's George McNaughty. Thumbs up. Great stuff.
Less than 10 laps to go in the race. Sneva just spreading out that lead. If he has no fuel problems, nothing else happens, it looks like he is going to win his first Indianapolis 500. Here's the white flag. 1 lap to go for Tom Sneva, and he'll win his first Indianapolis 500. Oh boy, what a moment this always is, and for him especially sweet.
Sneva just continues to pile it on, continues to drive it very close to those walls. I mean, we are seeing a confident driver in full command of his faculties here, Jim.
Certainly not slowing down. Well, after 3 second place finishes here, he doesn't want any of that talk about ultra-conservative driving. He has driven aggressively with tremendous talent and with beautiful technique all afternoon.
And how sweet it is for him that the 2 cars in his wake right now belong to Roger Penske.
Look at this, the crowd waving to him, and you can hear their cheers above the roar of the engines because the checkered flag is out, and Tom Sneva, at long last, has won the Indianapolis 500. Al Unser, second. Wow, what a fascinating final 20 laps that was. Danny Sullivan going down low. Can he make the move? Sullivan down low. Side by side, Sullivan has the lead. Danny Sullivan, Kentucky. And just at that moment, losing control of the car, doing a magnificent job of not hitting the wall and continuing in the race. It's unbelievable.
The incredible move maybe ever in Indianapolis, and Mario didn't hit him, Jim. That's even more incredible. Andretti subtly moving to the side like a fighter, taking a punch but letting it slip by him. Sullivan at 200 miles an hour recovering from that spin. You have to go back to Jim Clark in 1964-5, Jim, to get a move like that on this racetrack.
I've never seen anything like it on the Indianapolis racetrack.
Incredible.
Unbelievable, but he's going to come in. That may have caused problems in the car.
That is absolutely unbelievable what we saw. Of course, he must now stop because he's flat-spotted those tires. He's coming down that very rough pit lane there, which keeps the speeds down.
Listen to the cheers for him.
Oh, it's incredible. This place has come alive, and of course, Andretti is in the pits too, both the leaders. But Sullivan is going to have to change all 4 tires because of that. Mario will go back out. You see, they're even changing that left front tire, which they never change.
Well, that'll cost him the lead, no question of it, but Danny Sullivan is back out on the race course. I have never seen a person take a spin like that and begin to slide towards the wall and still recover. Let's have another look at it. We're going to have slow motion here in just a moment.
I'll tell you exactly what I think happened, Jim, even before seeing it. Aerodynamic effects. Watch what happens. I'll bet you that as Sullivan gets in front of Mario, no, I'm dead wrong. It's running over that the white line. The very thing that he was doing that made him so fast, I think, tripped him in this one move. Yeah, Mario's too far back, I think, to have had a rear guard aerodynamic effect. But all right, now, Andretti, faced with the moment of his driving life, he can't see where he's going. Fades slightly to the left by a miracle. Sullivan stays wide enough to the right, hits nothing, and we may have seen the most dramatic moment of racing, certainly that we're going to see this year. Incredible. Sullivan has worked as a janitor, a cab driver in New York, a hand on a chicken farm, a waiter, a lumberjack, a sod cutter, but I don't think he's ever worked at a job quite like this, the winning of the Indianapolis 500.
Here comes the white flag, 1 lap to go for the 35-year-old who, the point you make so well, Sam,
He is known as the swinging bachelor of the circuit, but he has paid his dues. All the menial jobs he had with 13 years of racing behind him.
Yes, he has, but for all of the things that I hope and wish for Danny Sullivan, and I'm one of his greatest fans, this man, Mario Andretti, looks as if he's headed for defeat today on the day he said he had the best chance ever in his 20 years to win the Indianapolis 500. I feel incredibly for Mario to put so much work and so much hope into this and is coming up short just a few seconds worth.
The old American hero will lose the race. The new American hero is Daniel John Sullivan III of Louisville, Kentucky, who has won the Indianapolis 500. Mario Andretti finishing second. Roger Penske, the crew chief. Now is the time to celebrate. They didn't budge a muscle until he had crossed the start-finish line, that yard of brick, for the last time. Roger Penske team winning for the second year in a row. Danny Sullivan headed for victory lane at Indianapolis. A moment he has to have dreamed about, thought about, planned for, but I would imagine, Sam, you're never quite ready for it.
Jim, he gave up a promising career in Formula One just 2 years ago to take a chance on IndyCar racing, and this is where that chance led.
The Indianapolis Motor Speedway gave a party last weekend, and everybody came. 400,000 of them. They stayed for the weekend, even over into Monday, but the party never came off. For the first time in 71 years, the scheduled race day was totally canceled. Not a race engine turned over in Indy. Still, most of the faithful remained. But Monday was worse than Sunday, as this scene indicates. So we all stood out in the rain some more until the Speedway announced it was off again. Come back on Saturday, they said, and we'll try again. So here we are for the first time ever. ABC Sports has been prepared to cover the 500 on live network television since last weekend, weather permitting. And as of now, it appears that weather will at last permit. How many have returned? Well, it has to be a guess, as there are no official attendance records here, but perhaps 250,000 should be a pretty good estimate. There are seats for more than that number, and as you can see, most of them seem to be occupied.
Hundreds of thousands of people now up and ready to watch on their tiptoes as they go green and race for 2 laps. The Indianapolis 500 is now the Indianapolis 5 between Kevin Kogan and Bobby Rahal and Rick Mears.
Oh, and Kevin didn't get the start he might have hoped for.
And Rahal's going by him. Bobby Rahal in car number 3 has the lead once again. You look at Debbie. She knows what's happened. They come out of turn 2. They're going down into turn 2 now, down the back stretch. Rahal trying to stretch the lead over Kogan. Mears trying to get into it.
I think it was a disadvantage for Kevin to be leading because it allowed Rahal to sit back just slightly and time the start. In fact, here comes Rick Mears.
Can't get by him. They're in turn 3. Now they're in turn 4. And they'll come out of turn 4 and onto the front straight. There will be 1 lap to go now when Bobby Rahal comes by the start-finish line. 33-year-old Bobby Rahal of Dublin, Ohio, trying to beat 30-year-old Kevin Kogan. And right now, Debbie Rahal believes it's about to happen. They're into turn 1.
Looks good,
short
doesn't it,
shoot.
Rahal?
He's got it. He's got it if the car holds
Just
up.
ran a lap at 204 miles an hour, so he had something left, and he's showing it right now. And Rick Mears may be going to menace Kevin Kogan for second as Rahal goes on to win. That's a possibility.
The yellow flag, which appears for a moment to have won the race for Kevin Kogan, instead created an opportunity for Bobby Rahal to win it. An opportunity that Rahal has taken advantage of. There in front of him, on the right, now the left, Dwayne Sweeney holds a checkered flag for the 1986 Indianapolis 500 champion, Bobby Rahal.
Fantastic. Mario, on the right of your screen, he's not starting for the pits.
Oh, my goodness, it's happened again.
It has happened.
It has happened again, and you can hear the crowd responding. Lady Luck has reared what is to Mario her ugly head at Indianapolis again.
That shows. Don't count your chickens till they hatch. The bad luck has followed Mario again. This is kind of sad in many ways. Mario is going to feel worse today than he has in probably most of his losses, Jim.
Millions of racing fans prayed only that Mario would get a fair shot, a full run at it. It looked so good for so long, and there now is the leader, and Katie knows it as Roberto Guerrero tries to turn his bridesmaid status into that of a champion.
There's Roberto Guerrero. Now, he, of course, saw Mario slowing. So what is in this man's mind? 28 years old. Now the Indianapolis 500 handed to him. We have heard now word that through Mario's radio back to his pits that he has lost blower pressure, his turbocharger not working. He may be able to limp around to a finish. Of course, any chance of winning is now completely gone.
This happened with less than 60 miles to go. He had led for all but 5 laps in the race.
That's astounding, but this is Indianapolis. This is racing luck. This is what we talked about all day, but remember another thing, it isn't over yet. The end of this race doesn't happen until it's really over.
And there goes Roberto Guerrero by Andretti's car. You see Andretti in the pits. You saw Guerrero come down the front straight. The leaderboard changes. Car number 4 goes to the top of the leaderboard. Roberto Guerrero is the man in control. Who's chasing Guerrero? Al Unser Sr. in car number 25. Here comes Roberto. Let's watch the pit stop.
All right, this will be interesting to see, Jim. They better not make mistakes now. He has a chance of winning this race. Now's the important time. Everything in racing comes down to the very last part.
Now there's second place, Al Unser Sr. And he is still out on the track, remember, as Guerrero makes the pit stop.
No adjustments for Roberto so far.
The critical thing here for Roberto to get out of the pits before Al Sr. makes it back around on the front straight.
Al Sr. is going down the back stretch. Now he's going into turn 3. You know that's in Roberto's mind. This pit stop is dragging on there.
Killed the engine. Roberto killed the engine.
They stalled it.
This is really going to change the outcome of this race. Roberto's engine, he's got it going. He's off, Jim.
They're going to be very close. They're going to be very close. Here comes Unser Sr. to the front straight.
He's going to pass him, I think.
Yeah, Guerrero can't get it going. It's stalled again. Al Unser Sr. takes the lead in the Indianapolis 500. You've got 18 laps to go. This man has won it 3 times already in his career. He's 47 years old. He didn't have a ride until 2 weeks ago, and now Guerrero has had a taste of Andretti luck.
The crowd is going wild. They have to pull Roberto back if he goes 1 pit stop too far. It's even a lap penalty, if I remember right here. Al now is on the defensive. He must operate totally different. He's not chasing anybody, they're chasing him.
He is the coolest head on the track.
And what do you think A.J. Foyt is thinking back in his darkened garage right now?
He is counting up those little differences between his record and Al Unser Sr.'s, and he might be recognizing
All
that
right, Roberto's underway again, Jim. Sorry to interrupt.
Yeah, but you're right.
Guerrero is now back at speed, leaving the pits. You see him there. But there goes Al going by him, so he is now a full lap down, and obviously he saw Al flash by. He knows the situation. There's no chance of overcoming that deficit through sheer speed whatsoever, so he is now in the position that Al was in before.
This is all within the space of a few miles. Andretti, who had controlled the race all day, suddenly pulling down to the apron. Guerrero taking the lead. Guerrero passing Unser Sr. to go a lap up. Coming in for the routine pit stop, the last one in the race. Stalling the car. And Al Unser Sr. taking advantage of the opportunity to move into the lead. All he's got to do now is finish cleanly.
Just 2 laps to go, Jim.
He won it in 1970 racing for Parnelli Jones. Again in 1971, he was the last man to repeat. He won it in a chaparral in 1978. He has not won it in 9 years, but he was second in 83, 5th in 82, 3rd in 84, 4th in 85. And now it looks like he's going to add first in 1987.
And with that incredible record behind him, Jim, still, when I stood next to Al when he went out to qualify and to put this car in the show 2 weeks ago, as he put his earpieces in, we see him coming up to 1 lap. His hands were shaking so badly, he could barely get his earpieces in. So no one is ever immune to the pressures of this place, and I don't think on this last lap that he's immune to it either in that cockpit. Do you?
Boy,
Aaron doesn't want to look. Karen doesn't want to look.
Face, and that tells you the story. She just crossing her fingers. She got everything crossed. She just praying to God that he can make it around the rest of this last remaining lap.
He's in the short chute between turns 1 and 2.
Going down
the back stretch. Now he's into turn 3.
He can coast from there, right? Just about.
When he comes off at turn 4, he can slide across.
That's Chris Mears, Rick Mears' wife, hugging Karen. And now here it is. your brother, Al Unser, joins A.J. Foyt as one of only 2 men ever to win the Indianapolis 500 4 times in his life.
That is fabulous. That is absolutely fabulous. I just cannot believe it.
Bobby, congratulations. That is simply fantastic.
Thank you.
That's just great.
This has been a day. This makes up for Robbie getting his leg broken.
Well, and I'm sure Robbie's watching right now. There's a television in that hospital room, we hope.
Yes, well, he's not watching TV, but he's listening to the radio.
Oh, that's right. He's listening to the radio, listening to Paul Page call this race on the radio as this telecast is blacked out until later this evening in Indiana. And the crowd now stands and responds for the man who can be called, certainly, one of the 2 greatest race car drivers ever in terms of his record in the Indianapolis 500. Rutherford next to him. You have to assume they exchanged a wave somewhere. And there's Little Al. Little Al pulls up next to his dad.
He's happy for his father right now, I guarantee you.
Little Al hasn't won yet, but this may not be the last Unser victory by any means in the Indy 500.
What a terrific story, in so much as on May 3rd, this man didn't even have a ride for the Indianapolis 500. And now Al getting the kiss from his wife. Al, congratulations. 4 times. The Indy 500 is yours. How does it feel, buddy?
I'll tell you what, it's hard to believe. It's something that, you know, you want to dream about. And, you know, it just seems that, you know, it wouldn't come true because of all the problems. And, of course, I still want to say Danny Sullivan, or Danny Angaius, rather, I feel for him because this should be his ride. That's the way it goes.
What were your thoughts, though, when at first it looked like you were going to be a solid 3rd, then it was a solid 2nd, and then all of a sudden, lo and behold, a solid 1st was within your grasp?
Well, I'll tell you what, Lady Luck has to run in your way sometime, and this is one of them.
Your brother Bobby called the race, and he was just a basket case up there for the last laps. You want to say anything to him?
Well, I'll tell you what, Bobby, I'm a basket case, too.
Says no. 5 laps to go. The backstretch. Another try. Can Al Unser Jr. get it done this time? It's a drag race going into 3, and Little Al has the lead. Al Unser Jr. picks up the lead. The question now is fuel.
Get the yellows. Help Little Al enough.
Little Al wandered back and forth on the main stretch. Was he trying to pick up a little more fuel? That tank is right down to the bottom now with 4 laps to go.
He's trying to break the slipstream that Emil's trying to use to keep up, Paul.
A.J. Foyt won his first race here. It was A.J.'s first win on pavement. Will Al Unser Jr. score his first oval win here today? Inside Little Al. A drag race on the backside again. Slower traffic moves to the right. Can Fittipaldi get past? Little Al brings it
fit. Fittipaldi tried it inside the third turn. The white flag is out. 199 laps are complete. The yellow flag flies. Teresa kisses Pat Patrick. Can you imagine the despair that Shelley and Al Unser feel now? Because for the second year in a row, he's okay. Little Al climbs out of his car, walks away from the safety crews. For the second year in a row, the Indianapolis 500 will finish under the yellow flag, but this time it will be a new name. It will be that of two-time world driving champion Emerson Fittipaldi. Former world driving champions winning here. Jimmy Clark, Graham Hill, Mario Andretti, and now the name Fittipaldi will go into the books. What promised to be a close finish ended with a lap and a half to go. Al Unser Jr. stands by the edge of the race course.
What will be his reaction as Emerson comes by? Was he angry? Did he gesture? He went out to signal him.
Little Al stepped out toward the edge of the track. Now the pace car will lead Emerson Fittipaldi, just like it did last year for Rick Mears, toward the checkered flag. The 73rd Indianapolis 500 is rolling to an end, and Emerson Fittipaldi, under the yellow flag, has captured his first 500-mile race victory at Indianapolis. Emerson Fittipaldi wins the great race. And boy, are they happy. No surprise whatsoever. Little Al now climbs into the ambulance, but it was obvious he was not hurt in the crash, despite a very hard impact with the wall. The Patrick Racing team begins now their celebration, and Emerson Fittipaldi waves to the crowd on the backstretch for the first time as the winner of an Indianapolis 500-mile race.
Look at him. Oh, he's really happy, Paul. We didn't get the chance to see exactly what happened. That in-car cam really showed the jolt that Little Al got going in the turn.
Here we go, Bobby Unser, on the backstretch as Little Al and Emo race closely together. One view of the situation.
It just appears that Emo drifted out, got Little Al's left rear with his right front. Little Al couldn't do anything about it. That was very similar to an accident we saw in a stock car race 2 weeks ago.
So Emerson Fittipaldi with an accident here. Let's take a look at it again. Fittipaldi darted away from Little Al, tried to get inside him. The two cars are neck and neck into the corner. Traffic just ahead. They touched wheels. Little Al went sliding into the wall. Fittipaldi was able to maintain control. He pulled a similar feat at Toronto just a couple of years ago. The last lap spin, and was able to continue on. He's done it again this time. It's paid off in an Indianapolis 500-mile race win.
It takes such a small bump to throw a car totally out of control.
We watch Emerson Fittipaldi hold on to the checker, the winner of the Indianapolis 500. The 1990s saw a changing of the guard. A.J. Foyt retired after a record 35 consecutive starts, but won again at Indy, this time as an owner. His driver, Kenny Breck, raced to victory after Robbie Gordon ran out of fuel with less than 2 laps to go. The hard-luck Andretti family, still chasing an elusive second Indy crown, became the first to start 4 family members in one race. Patriarch Mario Andretti raced at the Brickyard for the final time, 25 years after his first and only Indy victory. Indy's most dominant family celebrated once again when Al Unser Jr. won the closest race in 500 history. Indy's first second-generation winner, Little Al, added another title in this decade, giving the Unser family an unparalleled 9th victory. In '91, Rick Mears earned his place in the record books, becoming Indy's 3rd 4-time winner.
The green flag is back out. And Rick Mears comes around John Andretti. He's no factor whatsoever, but Michael is right there with him. Michael moving to the outside. Can he keep in the high groove? He did it at Phoenix. Can he do it here? Michael Andretti takes the lead away from Rick Mears. Wow!
That's one of the toughest passes I've ever seen. A short shoot pass with two cars running nearly the same speed. I'll just bet you that Rick Mears thought that would have been impossible, and I just can tell you, he never, ever looked for Michael to go that way.
That is sheer virtuosity by Michael Andretti, Bobby. Don't you agree? That was an incredible
That was one of the finest pieces of driving, one of the hardest pieces of driving I've seen. And Sam, it's very difficult to pass somebody on the outside like that, and especially a car that's just as fast.
And from Bobby Unser's point of view, a position on the track that he was not expected. But here is Rick Mears now in the same position as Mears, who has been driving a very different line. This race takes Michael Andretti 187 laps into the record book. The fight is at the front.
Well, our hats off to him now. If you ever see racing better than that, I'd certainly like to know where it's going to be.
Well, Rick Mears joined the list of four-time winners at the Indianapolis 500. Al Unser, A.J. Foyt are the only other two. Now less than 2 miles for Rick Mears. If he holds on, he will become the third four-time winner of the Indianapolis 500 here on the 75th running of the great race. Chris Mears as Rick runs the straightaway. One corner left to go. One corner left to run. He can see the checkered flag just ahead of him now. Mears has accomplished what only 2 men have before. He is now a 4-time winner of the 500 as he waves to Michael Andretti, who is alongside in the crowd.
I mean, I tell you, I'm tickled to death. I never dreamed of getting 1 here, let alone 3, let alone 4. So I'm just tickled to death. Tell you, the Marlboro guys, the team did a tremendous job. I mean, this is our backup car. Shows you how good our backup car is, and they just did a hell of a job. The Goodyear tires worked great along, and obviously the Chevy was strong when we got to run at Michael. So we're just excited. I don't know what to say.
Neither car in contest at the moment. Scott Goodyear trying desperately to make up the distance. He's inching up on Al Unser Jr. And Scott Goodyear is now right there, right behind Little Al. He follows Little Al down the main straightaway. Anywhere Little Al goes, there is Scott as well.
And first, when you weave back and forth like that, you scrub off a little bit of speed too, but Scott has nothing he can do except to follow him because he needs the drafting.
Scott Goodyear, of course, a Canadian early in his career. You see him setting up Little Al now. He seemed to kind of give you the feeling that things were coming easily for him. Then he had a long period there, 2-3 years, where just couldn't get any result at all. Suddenly he's vaulted back to this moment. He can see the possibility of winning the Indy 500 if he can make 1 pass. But he has got to pass one of the savviest, canniest, and most determined drivers in the business.
A lot of that's going to come from the old sprint car days. That's where Little Al came from, was go-karts and sprint cars. He's got a lot of savvy on how to keep somebody from passing.
The 198th lap in the record books. On this lap in 1989, Emerson Fittipaldi and Little Al touched wheels. Little Al hit the wall. Fittipaldi went onto the west. Scott Goodyear still trying to catch him.
Right now, there's no traffic involved in front of him, Paul. This is what got him the last time.
And Al Unser Jr. sees Dwayne Sweeney's white flag. 2.5 miles. 1 more lap to go. If Scott Goodyear has a chance, the time is now. Don't forget, 10 years ago, John Cox and Rick Mears raced on the last lap for the finish. John Cox won that one. That was experience over Rick Mears' relative inexperience. Will that happen again here today? They're on the backstretch. 223 miles an hour on the last lap.
No traffic involved.
They make the turn for home now. On the main stretch, Scott Goodyear closes in. He looks for a place to come by. Scott Goodyear tries it, but no.
I believe that's the closest finish in Indy history. Closer than the race 10 years ago when Gordon
Is this inexperience for Mansell, giving it over to Fittipaldi? And look at Lyondike as he moves to second place.
Desperate pass by Ari Lyondike, a very good pass. Really got Mansell asleep on that one. Boy, Fittipaldi run through here. Turn 2 wide open, folks.
That was an inexperienced move by Mansell. He should have gotten on the throttle sooner. If it had been Fittipaldi or Little Al, you can bet they would have.
Fittipaldi becomes a record 12th leader of the Indianapolis 500 with 15 laps to go.
I just don't think Mansell,
not over yet, Bobby.
I just don't think Mansell realized how hungry these guys were to try to win the biggest race in the world.
Jack Harut, you have an update on that pass.
Well, Jim McGee was on the radio when they dropped the green flag, trying to tell Mansell how to get the jump. He didn't get it.
That comes from experience. He's learned all day, but he didn't learn that part. Devlin's through here, Lyondike's through here, and then Mansell all hooked up.
Nigel Mansell is now desperate. They really jumped him on the last restart. He is now going to have to drive the race of his life if he has any chance at all of catching Fittipaldi. Off of turn 2, and Mansell hits the wall. He hits the wall but keeps going. As we watch now for the white flag that will indicate Fittipaldi has just 2.5 miles to go for his second win at the Indianapolis 500. And there it is. Another Penske car heading into the record book. 2.5 miles to go. Fittipaldi works through the short chute, now into the second turn. One more full straightaway to run. 2 corners, the short chute, and then half a stretch, and Fittipaldi will be home. Lyondike tried to close, couldn't do it, dropped even further back. In fact, it may become a battle for second between Mansell and Lyondike. Here comes Fittipaldi, Emerson Fittipaldi. The final turn for home, the checkered flag, and Emerson Fittipaldi has won his second Indianapolis 500. Fittipaldi led only the last 16 laps of the race to score Roger Penske's 9th Indianapolis 500 victory. Scott Goodyear may be on his way to a win at the Indianapolis 500. We should go green after this.
Paul, when you asked me to handicap the 2 drivers before, Scott Goodyear, Scott Pruitt, we talked about their relative experience. And in fact, it was the least experience of the 2 that had trouble. Once again, to compare them in experience, it's Scott Goodyear with 6 years of racing here, Jacques Villeneuve in his second.
So a veteran, a sophomore, and 2 rookies. There's Leslie, Scott's wife, as she watches on. They live now here on the north side of Indianapolis. He is Canadian. If he can win, be the first Canadian to do so. But remember, Villeneuve is also Canadian. And Salazar, then Fittipaldi.
Blew the pace car right off.
No, that can't be right.
Can't do that.
Pace car was too slow, Paul. He needed to get a run.
But they gave him the green flag anyway. Dwayne Sweeney is waving the green flag. Goodyear got a run on the pace car.
I think it was only a normal deal. The pace car just wouldn't accelerate. He just went too slow.
Jacques Villeneuve was not anticipating that. And as a result, Goodyear got a good run on him. Now that's Ari Lyondike that's moving in there. He is not part of this battle. Lyondike runs in 8th place, a lap down. But now he pokes his nose into the fight.
That was a savage setback for Villeneuve.
Scott Goodyear going into turn 3 had to get moving. He couldn't wait any longer. Otherwise, the same thing would have happened to him that happened to Scott Pruitt before.
And Rahal got around Salazar on that restart as well. And that puts Rahal up into the fight.
The green car in the center of the screen is Eliseo Salazar, who's running in 3rd.
Now that's Christian.
No, that's Christian Fittipaldi. My apologies.
Rahal right behind him. Salazar sitting just behind Rahal.
Yes, also in a green car. Has dropped back suddenly.
9 laps to go.
Wow, Fittipaldi in trouble in that car for a second. The track conditions, Bobby, must be terrible.
They are. They're slippery, but remember, the gust comes up and goes down. If we one lap we have gust, next we don't.
Oh, no. The officials are now reporting they're going to show the black flag to Scott Goodyear, the 24 car. You're on board with him now. They're going to show the black flag to the leader of the race. Stop and go penalty because he passed the pace car before the green. Scott Goodyear is about to lose the Indy 500 on a penalty. A black flag, stop and go.
And
look at Leslie.
And Jacques Villeneuve may be about to win it because of a penalty, despite the fact, you see him there in that blue and white car, despite the fact he himself suffered what appeared to be a death blow penalty, a 2-lap penalty much earlier in the race. So the story of this race, Bobby, no question about it, has been the role that the officials have played in the race.
It's been a roll of penalties this entire race from start to finish, and it's just sad to see races end like this.
A Canadian has never won at Indianapolis. There are 2 leading. One is due in the pits to acknowledge the black flag any moment now.
This will so propel Jacques Villeneuve's career forward. You will see Formula One teams make million dollar offers, huge offers for his talents for next year. Will he go? That's up still in the air.
Villeneuve in front. Fittipaldi. Christian Fittipaldi runs in second. 7 laps to go. There's the black flag being given to the leader.
And we talked about the changing of the guard. Here is a sophomore, second-year man running first, and a rookie running second.
No one has ever come from 2 laps down to win the Indy 500. The youngest winner thus far in the history of the race was Troy Ruttman. Now, Jacques Villeneuve will be looking at a white flag and one final lap, a final 2.5 miles. An unbelievable run. The story will be told that Jacques Villeneuve went 2 laps down on a penalty and fought his way back to the front of the field, across the South Chute for the final time in front of Bobby Unser.
Going by us, and he's looking really good, Paul. No problems.
Ari Luyendyk staying right there, wants to get in that winner's picture. Jacques Villeneuve on the backstretch.
The magnitude of his achievement. Listen to the roar of the crowd. Back from 2 laps down. Only his second year.
One more turn. The first Canadian on his way to winning the Indianapolis 500. Jacques Villeneuve on the home stretch. And the 79th Indy 500 has been won by Jacques Villeneuve as Ari Luyendyk screams by on the outside. The young Canadian has taken the win.
X-rays of this driver's lower spine resemble a shattered shell from a broken egg. Buddy Lazier, 16 fractures, 25 bone fragments. How painful is that? And can you possibly endure 500 miles?
Yeah, we have a seat that was specially made by Dr. Brock Walker, and I worked very closely with the Stedman Hawkins Clinic, Dr. Sterrett. And yeah, we're in good shape. We should be able to complete the race. I'm the most comfortable when I'm in the race car.
Well, let's show you why he's more comfortable in the car. We'll go over and actually show you that special seat. Now, it actually is a seat to help support his lower spine. It is actually sort of like a banana-shaped seat to give his lower lumbar sacral spine, where all those bone fragments are, extra support. And as he said, he is more comfortable in the car than trying to get in. But it'll take courage for him to be able to sit down in this car and try to make it 500 miles.
Here comes Lazier. Lazier charging on Jones. He moves to the inside of him, and Buddy Lazier picks up the lead of the 500 with 8 laps to go.
You can see how important it is. There is nothing like the excitement you get at the end of the Indy race.
As Buddy Lazier picks up the lead of the race. Unbelievable. Pace car moves away. One car separating Lazier from Davy Jones, second place. Richie Hearn is in third, but he's back in that order. So now the pace begins to pick up. Jones will be looking for an ability to move on it. And then he's saying, come on, go now, go now, go now. Lazier being careful, comes back to the green flag. Green and white at the same time. 1 lap to go. 2.5 miles, and the idiot's running to the Indy 500. Buddy Lazier screams down toward turn 1. Jones doesn't seem like he can make a move on him. Onto the backstretch.
Looking good coming out of here.
Jones still looking for a chance to move. He's trying to get around Jourdain. He's around him now, in contact with the leader. The third turn, 1 to go at Indianapolis. Buddy Lazier taking a look at the fourth turn, comes off the fourth corner. And the checkered flag lies just ahead as Buddy Lazier takes the checkered flag and wins the Indianapolis 500.
As you stand up, you can see the pain, but this is happy pain as the Borg Warner Trophy has been placed behind Buddy Lazier and now the winner's wreath. Young man, you join an elite group now as a winner of the Indianapolis 500.
Here we go, closing laps. They're running for the checkered flag. They're running for the checkered flag, 3 to go.
A lot of these are dictated by restarts, but here it doesn't look like anybody got a big jump. Goodyear wasn't able to get a big jump on Lyondike.
Look at the car, Tom. Everything look all right?
Well, everything looks fine there. I'm not sure what the yellow is for, though. Well, Lyondike also looked like he almost grazed the wall, so...
Well, we'll go back, take a look at it. Of course, when a car touches the wall, that's when you're going to go yellow here.
Again, on board Stewart, you can see him.
Oh, boy, that wasn't a brush. That was a certified hit.
Yeah, that's a pretty good hit. Obviously, understeering, he's pressing too hard to try to close the gap and made a little mistake.
That shows you how much the front wings do, because you get a little disturbed there from the other cars there and kept standing on the gas and ran out of racetrack.
So Arie Lyondike will come around, and he has a yellow out at the start-finish line. Lyondike, there he is. You're on board him. The white flag is there, and they're going to go green for the final lap. Here we go. One more lap. 2.5 miles, and the Indy 500 will be decided.
Get going, buddy. Get going. That's yellow out there. It's green again.
Apparently, the yellow light is still on some sections of the racetrack.
It's green here in the back straightaway, Paul.
That's what that radio warning was. So they're keeping it speed.
I'm not too sure about that last start by Usack there.
Making the turn for home. Here comes Arie Lyondike.
Get down here. That's it, baby.
And you heard the call on their two-way radio. Arie Lyondike now becomes a two-time winner at Indy. Lyondike, the pole sitter, has taken the Indy 500.
That white flag, green flag situation startled you and a lot of people.
Well, good thing I was running in, I don't remember what gear, but I just went down one gear and it picked up real nice. And then the light went back yellow, but I just kept going. I said, the hell, if they don't know what they're doing, I better just keep doing what I've been doing.
Here's exactly what they were talking about. There is the light. See it down in the corner. They're coming to the start-finish line for the restart. The race has started. Now look up at the top of the screen for the flagman. He's already waving, but the light is yellow. That's the controversy. That's the confusion. And unfortunately, Scott Goodyear is caught in it again. Crash. And car in. Another car comes through the debris and catches the wall nearly head on. So now we have a serious incident at Indianapolis. And the yellow comes on. 49 laps are complete. Arie Lyondike just tries to motor through the situation.
Well, he's down on the warm-up lane or the pit exit trying to get by things.
In turn 1 is this situation. That's Mark Dismore's car right there with the back into the wall. Multi-car incident in turn 1.
Well, heavy traffic, 3-4 cars side by side. Yellow car's backed in early. Really hard to tell how they got started, but look at that, come in late.
Eddie Cheever actually comes through that without trouble as Dismore spins behind. Driving away from the competition, Eddie Cheever is on his way to being the 58th different winner of the Indianapolis 500-mile race. The crowd standing, the crowd cheering. He can almost carry the car from this point. His final pass down the backstretch.
He'd like to get through 3 and 4 before he starts carrying it.
Final pass through the north end. Off of turn 4, down the long front stretch, screaming for the yard of bricks, hand up, saluting the crowd. Eddie Cheever has won the 82nd running of the Indianapolis 500-mile race. Last owner-driver to win at Indy was A.J. Foyt in 1977. Now, Eddie Cheever is one of those. As the millennium changed, we all found out that the Indy Speedway is ageless. The cars and drivers changed, but the race is still contested right where Ray Haroon won in 1911. The 21st century, still in its infancy, has been dominated to this point by South Americans. In 2000, rookie Juan Montoya of Colombia won. Another rookie in 2000 was 19-year-old Sarah Fisher. The youngest driver in the race only had her regular driver's license for 3 years. And here she was, driving at Indy. Fisher made history when she, along with the race's oldest driver, Lynn St. James, became the first 2 women to start the same Indy 500. Thus, we heard a new variation on Indy's most famous phrase, starting the race from Holman's daughter.
Ladies and gentlemen, start your engines.
Roger Penske is now by far the winningest owner at the Indy 500. Penske driver Jill DeFerrin won in 2003 and retired at the end of the season. Penske's Helio Castroneves won his rookie race in 2001 and then again in 2002, becoming the first driver ever to win back-to-back in his first 2 starts. At the end of the race, he showed the crowd something they'd never seen before, adding his own tradition to the lore of the Indianapolis 500, as you'll see as we look back at his first Indy victory.
There it is, the white flag. 1 more lap to go. 2.5 miles for Helio Castroneves. He'll pass Greg Ray going into turn number 1, and now DeFerrin gets hung up behind some slower traffic just momentarily. But Castroneves brings it safely through turn number 2 and on to the backstretch. Well, 671 men and women have competed here in Indianapolis in the 85-year history of the 500. Only 60 have experienced the ultimate thrill of winning here. The date of May 27th, 2001 will forever be etched in the memory of Helio Castroneves. He has realized the ultimate dream. Helio Castroneves has won the Indianapolis 500. And Roger Penske wins his 11th, and the cars finish 1-2, Vince.
Roger, congratulations. What a triumphant return for Team Penske.
Well, I'll tell you, these guys deserve it. There's a rookie won this race. Everybody in our team should be thanked. You folks, the fans, for giving us a great welcome. We've got a great team, and we came back here. I think we redeemed ourselves from the lousy thing we did in '95. But I'll tell you, it's the best day of my life coming back like this.
There have been so many triumphs in the career of Roger Penske, but for him today to say that this is the greatest, what a statement.
He's a
addicted to chain link, this kid. I love him. You think he's pumped up right now? And there goes all his teammates. The whole Penske crew's getting up on the fence. I don't think the Indianapolis Motor Speedway's ever seen anything like this, Bob.
Castroneves in a car that has to be running on fumes now with Paul Tracy all over the back end.
And you heard Paul's radio before, go full rich, and what that means, full rich, the fuel's getting all the motor's getting all the fuel that it needs. It's going to produce maximum horsepower.
Full rich is power. Onto the front stretch in Indianapolis. Tracy.
Point flag next time. That's it.
Leader's been told to use full rich if he has to. He just said, that's the guy.
And in the Penske pit, Paul, they are sweating bullets, literally. They know the white flag's up next time die as Tracy stalks and closes.
Tracy looks to the outside. Whoa, and a car in trouble right on against the wall. White flag, yellow flag are going to come out together. Scoring goes back to the previous lap. Unbelievable, but he does have to finish.
Gonna say, Paul,
that's
that's the key. He's got to get around even under yellow, and they're still concerned.
So, Helio Castroneves got to get through all that debris, and the engine has to stay running all the way to the backstretch, down the front, around turn 3, around 4, and then he'll have it. It's not won yet.
And they're telling him on the radio, go real slow, and milk it for every bit you can. Cindric on the radio, they're still very nervous, Paul.
Wilbur Shaw, Maury Rose, Bill Vukovich, Al Unser, all have had back-to-back wins. Castroneves may be about to add his name to that list. Oh, agonizingly slow. And of course, Tracy looking for any opportunity, any falter at all. He's done it. Helio Castroneves played the economy game and wins the 86th Indianapolis 500. Castroneves goes for the fence again. He may have been running out of fuel, but he made it to the finish in the extra lap and victory. The crowd loves it.
Here's the unofficial rundown of the finishers. Alex Barron comes home as the best rookie, finishing in 4th position. Michael Andretti wound up in 7th spot, and the teammate of the winner finished in the 9th spot. Now here once again is a documentation of what happened on the last lap. You see the cars of Helio Castroneves and Paul Tracy coming out of turn 2 and coming down the backstretch. Now we'll roll the tape here and show you when the crash occurs. On the left, watch Laurent Redon crash. There's the crash, and now Paul Tracy later pulls out the pass Helio Castroneves.
Bob, that is certainly a violation of the rules, and Helio Castroneves certainly did win this race today.
Tony Kanaan continues to fade. The battle is between DeFerrin and Castroneves.
The difference between first and second, besides the Borg-Warner Trophy, probably about $600,000 for these two drivers. But as a driver, you just want the trophy right now. Gilles never had it. Castroneves, it would be his 3rd time.
Castroneves inched in.
Here by 3.
But the interval remains about the same, 3/10.
Clear by 3.
Paul Castroneves has been here twice. He's won twice. He doesn't know what it's like to lose.
2.5 miles to go for Jill DeFerrin.
I guarantee you his heartbeat is going so hard right now that his chest is probably hurting. Remember last year he lost a tire after a pit stop? Looked like he had the opportunity to win that race.
If Castroneves is going to have a chance, it would be now. He tries to get a little clean air. Doesn't work for him. Through turn 3. Castroneves still trying to close. DeFerrin looks at the front stretch. He can see the checkered flag now. And Jill DeFerrin becomes the 62nd driver to win in Indianapolis 500. Jill DeFerrin. Look at that. That's a view like no other. And Jill DeFerrin is enjoying it as the winner of the Indianapolis 500. Yeah! 11 rows of 3, 32 men, 1 woman, 8 rookies, 3 former winners, and 500 miles to go. Place on the start, but the green came out nevertheless, and Buddy Rice set the pace. Dario Franchitti has jumped into 2nd place. Tony Kanaan on the move. Kanaan gets alongside of Weldon, going for 3rd. Those sparks you see, those are bumpers on the bottom of the car. They're titanium. The cars are heavy, and when they touch the ground, you'll see a spray of sparks. Buddy Rice leads lap number 1 at Indianapolis, the first time he's led here. 400 miles are complete. Buddy Rice, the pole sitter, is the leader. He's out in front by almost 3 seconds. There's a threat of rain. There's these pit stops coming up in about 10 laps. And for some reason, there is a very frustrated Bobby Rahal who's been running up and down the pits. 2nd place is Tony Kanaan, followed by his 2 teammates, Dan Weldon and Brian Herta. And then the reigning IRL Series champion, Scott Dixon. We're going down to the final minutes now, the final 100 miles, and it rolls off pretty quick at 215 miles an hour. And also with that whole threat of rain, who knows what can happen just in the next few seconds. And David Letterman from the pits, man, what can he be thinking? Jerry?
Well, David Letterman, you held your hand out. We felt a couple of raindrops. Do you anticipate that the shower is on its way? And if so, you guys could pull it off.
Yeah, but I got to tell you, it's not really about the rain. The unbelievable job Buddy has done all day. I mean, it's a heroic effort. The car was strong under any circumstances. And he fell back a couple of times, and he kept tigering forward and forward. The rain doesn't mean anything.
You have got to be so proud. You've got to be so proud.
Unbelievable. Let's see what happens.
So do Rice and Letterman take the gamble of their life and keep that car out with the possibility of rain? And there's the call. They bring Rice in. Brian Herta will pick up the lead.
This team won the pit stop competition on Thursday. They were the best of the best. This stop could win them the Indy 500. They cannot afford a miscue. Remember, Buddy Rice stalled the car while leading before the 100-lap mark. Here they come. Ricardo Nalton Company, right front tire, left front, rear tires are on. Fuel is in the car. He revs the engine. Leader in turn 3, and Buddy Rice does
Buddy Rice.
Oh man, that stop was incredible. But now Herta faces the decision, as does the now second place Fernandez and third place Vitor Mira. There's Herta, new leader at the Indianapolis 500. Now the top 5 cars, Herta, Fernandez, Mira, Matsura, and Castroneves, they all still have to stop within a lap or two, unless they pull something out we've never seen before.
Took a while, but Vitor Mira has worked his way to the front of the field. Remember, he ran over the air holes during a pit stop, was relegated to the back. Here comes Brian Herta.
So Fernandez now will pick up the lead.
60 miles an hour along pit lane, guys. Seems like an eternity when everybody's going over 200 on the front stretch.
Dave Sharpley has a crew cam on the right front for Brian Herta's car. Vince Well.
This crew has been flawless all day long. The fuel is in, the tires are changed, and down he goes. Excellent work from the Andretti Green team, and they slap high fives of the satellite radio team.
There's Fernandez, the new leader, and he stays out. He's been quietly there all day. Look back from Dixon. So watch for Fernandez to make a move for the pit road. He's milked 37 laps out of that car. Now he says he's coming in.
Pulling on tires, guys. Pulling on tires. We got that. Got a clear pitch all around you.
Fernandez gives the instruction to the crew, Gary Gerald.
Paul, the raindrops are getting bigger. The crew looking to the skies. They were pleading for it to open up and rain, but no, now it's Fernandez's time to come in and make a green flag stop. With 29 laps to go in the Indy 500 and weather imminent. Adrian at the top of the leaderboard, but he won't be there long. Here's the service. It should be the final one of the day. Fueling complete. Adrian is gone. Let's see how far he drops on the pylon. Buddy Rice just went flashing by.
Buddy Rice has the lead again. Kanaan second. There's Buddy, the 15 car. Weldon third. Herta fourth. Junqueira back up to fifth.
The most important job for Buddy Rice right now, guys, is to make sure that he reads the traffic correctly, doesn't get bogged down with any slower traffic in front, and make sure he doesn't take himself out.
Is it going to rain? Are they going to finish the race? 28 laps to the end? And then there's that pesky little fact about guys leading at this point, tending not to finish in front at the Indianapolis 500. So they've made the call. The caution has come out. Dave Letterman is sensing the possibility that they may be winning the Indy 500. It depends. There's Buddy's dad, Buddy Rice's father. Oh, come on, Rain, stay here. Bobby Rahal looks skyward too. The Borg-Warner Trophy.
And the face of Bobby Rahal is on there for 1986, and he would like to become a two-time winner. One as an owner, one as a driver.
We started the day in raindrops. We're going to finish it in raindrops. The checkered flag is waiting for Buddy Rice. Terrific year as Buddy Rice, Honda-powered Firestone shot, wins the Indianapolis 500 for Bobby Rahal and Dave Letterman. His first win in his IRL career. There couldn't be a better moment. So with Buddy Rice's victory, ABC Sports' 40th Indy 500 broadcast comes to a close. What a ride it's been at this great race course. From the front-engine four-cylinder cars and black and white television to the ground-bound rockets now pushed by 800 horsepower with the engines mounted behind the driver and a tiny color camera taking you along today. We've watched two generations of drivers strive for the top of the racing summit. We've seen the magic of the well-choreographed pit crew. We've cried and rejoiced while riding with the greatest drivers ever. There have been many changes in the last 40 years, but what doesn't change is the 2.5 miles, the 200 laps, and drivers who dream and once a year come to the center of Indiana for a shot at history. We look forward to the future of racing's greatest spectacle, the Indianapolis 500 on ABC Sports. This has been a presentation of ABC Sports, Championship Television.